is a Variety Sports Network production. Now to your host.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Seventh Inning.
Stretch.
That was pretty good. That was
Not
good.
bad.
That was good. It was a good comeback one. I missed that. Your camera didn't freeze either. It's always that one spot, and this time it didn't freeze. So yeah, I like that. Maybe it's because you move so fast. Like it's such a fast movement. Your camera can't keep up. But anyways, welcome to the Seventh Inning Stretch. My name is Logan. I'm your host, as always, and with me, as always, is Josh Eduardo's. And we also have. Is he even a special guest anymore? He's more like chopped liver. Like he's been with us for like guest. 4 weeks now. So Darin from Fat Boy Fadeaway, also part of VSN.
Yes,
how you doing?
I'm good. Just part now. I feel like maybe I'm part of the bench now. Maybe riding the end. The coach still trying to make the starting lineup a little bit. So we'll get there.
You're like the reliever.
Exactly. I'll be
work those guys into the rotation.
We'll make good money. I'm okay with that.
Darin, I need to warn you though. Listen, even though we're partners with far end of the bench, we cannot legally say far end of the bench. So just be careful whenever you say the bench word. Otherwise, Jimmy and Nico get really pissed off.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Josh, how are you doing?
Today was a Monday of Mondays, but Monday is almost over, and I'm ready to work the next 4 days. So let's rock and roll. We got a 5-game set with the Cubs as a Cardinal fan, so I'm excited about that, even though the Cubs are playing really, really good baseball right now, which makes it even more fun of a series.
Good. It needs to be like that. So sorry we were not available on Friday. We have big stuff going on in the VSN network area. I gotta stop saying that. The VSN YouTube area and the shows area and everything area. So keep a lookout for that. But anyways, we have news today, so we're not going to do topics like we normally do on Mondays, but let's get right into it. First of all, Texas Rangers fired their manager, Chris Woodward, last week. Woodward had been the manager of the team since 2019. 211. He had a 211 and 287 win-loss record for a 424 winning percentage. This wasn't really shocking that it happened. It was shocking to me that it happened now and not at the end of the season. It seems kind of weird and pointless, but I don't know. That's the Rangers can do it. And then that kind of leads into the next piece, which is the Rangers were not done, and they fired longtime GM John Daniels a couple of days after that. So they're just cleaning house and getting ready for this big dynasty, hopefully, that they are thinking that they're going to have. I think Woodward – what? 2
years.
Oh, no, next year. I think next year.
No, I'm calling it. It's going to take 2 years. Next year they'll be good, but 2 years they'll be a World Series contender.
Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I think Woodward was not really a playoff manager. So they're going to get a seasoned veteran. I'm going to go ahead and predict that it's going to be Mike Schilt, who takes over in the offseason. But Josh, what do you think?
I think it's a good call. For once, I really agree with you. I think it's a real good call.
That's not for once.
Well, okay. On the rare occasion. There you go. Way to move your camera so we can see your curly head.
Oh my gosh, this thing. Anyway.
Darin, have you noticed he's got pubes for hair and he's trying to show it off?
Oh my gosh.
It's prime time where you guys are. I guess you're allowed to show it after. It's late enough there. You guys can do that. Kids are still up here. Come on, Logan.
This is my Coke head, okay? My Coke bed head. So what do you, Darin, what do you think of the Rangers firing their GM and their manager?
Like I've told you guys, I think the first time I jumped on, I have a friend that's a big fan of the Rangers, so I kind of followed them a little bit. And I was actually, when I knew I was going to be on with you guys, I asked him what he thought about the move and stuff like that. And I kind of my thoughts too. That I just think it was, like you said, it was coming. Maybe it happened a couple months before the season, but I mean, here's his records over the time: 78 and 84, 22 and 38 COVID, 60 and 102 last year, 11 games under 500 this year, and all those full seasons they gave up over 800 runs. So I'm saying, like, pitching is always the problem in Texas. So the manager is one thing, but like they just honestly don't have, I feel like, the pitching to get it done. I do say watching Rangers games though, he did not manage a bullpen very well. He did not. Like there'd be times where like there was a game this year where the A's were playing him and John Gray gave up 1 hit in 7 innings, and he took him out with 95 pitches. And then the A's come back, have a chance to win. They lose, but you get my point. It's like, he's done stuff like that over the years. So I'm a little, and with Daniels getting fired, they just have made bad trades. Like the thing, I told you guys this last time, it made no sense, Josh, to me. Like they went in complete rebuild a couple years ago, and then this year they spend $500 million on Seager and Simeon. I that's where I just don't get it. So to me, you guys are being nice when you say playoff contention in 2 years. To me, you guys are like, you're looking on things going all the right way. So that could happen. They do have some young talent.
That's
Josh.
well.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me go on here. So because they spent that $500 million on those 2 players, you got a core to the middle of your infield. Now you guys can turn double plays left and right, and you fill in the gaps. First baseman and third baseman, you can do what you need to do there. The market's going to be a little bit open in the offseason for that. Outfielders are a dime a dozen. You just got to find guys who can show up and hit for 275 average with a decent OPS and a decent OPS plus. Take all the statistical puzzle pieces and put them together. The Rangers could pull a Moneyball move here in the offseason and start trying to put things together. Their pitching seems to be the problem to me with the bolstered infield at this point, but I don't think they're that far away. I mean, I think they're closer than the Cubs. I think they're closer than Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Oakland.
Well, yeah.
And with the division they're in, I mean, Houston eventually is going to start coming down. So there's a chance, especially if Seattle doesn't take off.
Yeah. Well, like they explained, getting Corey Seager, because if you look at the 2023 class, free agent class, it's pretty slim pickings. I mean, there's Aaron Judge, there's Wilson Contreras, Trey Turner, and there's a couple others, but it's pretty slim pickings. Whereas last year was one of the biggest and best free agent classes we've had in a while. So they said, we went and got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager because even though we're not prepared to win right now, we're preparing because we know that if we give them a $10 million contract or a 10-year contract, they're going to fit into this plan that we have. And you look at their team, their top prospects, they have a third baseman who's their number one prospect. I can't remember where he ranks. I can't find it right now, but I don't know where he ranks in the top 100, but
I just don't trust their pitching. I mean, like even with Leiter and the other guy they just drafted, I mean, I feel like there's always like some hiccups there. I need to see more from the Rangers from a track record. They have that little stretch, I know, with Ron Washington and that. But come on, my whole life they've either underachieved big time or always just been mediocre. So it's hard for me to have a lot of faith in with their things. But I agree with you on Simeon and Seager. This seems like a lot of money to throw at guys that are 29 years old.
Well, yeah, and the next year, because they're really excited about this Tavares kid. Yeah. And they also have Adolis Garcia. They're going to get Aaron Judge in the offseason. You're welcome, Josh. And Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, who.
Well, they also have Evan Carter is an outfielder ranked 59th overall in prospects. Owen White is a right-handed pitcher ranked 62nd overall in the top 100.
Yeah.
They also have Justin Foscue at second base to come up and do whatever they want to do with him or trade him for players. And then they got Brock Porter in the top 100 at 94 as a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
So they have some guys in the pipeline where in two, maybe 3 years, maybe give them a little bit more space there to be a playoff contender. That was really my point. I mean, they got guys in the pipeline is what I should have said. I shouldn't have mentioned the free agent market.
But I mean, you look back 2 years ago at the draft, teams were like, we have to choose between Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter. And Kumar Rocker ended up declining the Mets deal, going to the Mets. So he played for alternative team, and then he came back, and then he got drafted by the Rangers. So they pretty much have two number one picks in that are ready to go pretty much. Well, not now, but next year.
Yeah.
So that's got to be pretty exciting for them. They're not done for sure, but I think this offseason you're going to see some trades, and you're also going to see some big free agency moves. So I've been saying this for the whole season. I think Ranger fans need to be very excited. Darin, do you know who you think? Do you have an idea of who should manage this team? You think Ron Washington should come back? And
no, I think they got to move on from that. I think they got to, that one to me, he kind of did his job there at that point there. I honestly haven't heard anything on any Rangers rumors or anything like that with anybody coming back. I don't really have any thought on that. I had heard the name you had said too, but yeah, no thoughts on the manager yet.
Mike Shildt, the greatest Cardinals manager of all time.
He did real quick on Garcia, wasn't he? I hear was he actually a Cardinals original prospect though?
Who?
Garcia. I heard he was. I was shocked if the Cardinals.
Oh, Adolis Garcia. Yeah. He was a top. No, he wasn't a top prospect. I don't think.
Okay. When somebody said that, I was like, wow, the Cardinals don't usually give up on guys like that, but maybe he felt too late.
They kind of released him because he wasn't doing well with the Cardinals. They brought him up into the majors, and he wasn't doing well, so they released him. And that was kind of during the 2018-19 thing where they got rid of Randy Arozarena, Adolis Garcia, Patrick Wisdom. Yeah, and so it was kind of a sad time to be a Cardinal fan. So you were like, oh yeah, we're going to keep Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill, but we're going to get rid of Adolis Garcia and who was the other outfielder? Oh, Randy Arozarena.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a kick in the balls for sure. But anyways, do we have anything else we want to talk about on this topic before we move on? Okay, let's move on to the Braves side. Michael Harris and the Braves agreed to an 8-year, $72 million contract extension. Michael Harris this season is a rookie. He has in 287 plate appearances, he has a 283 batting average, 321 on base, 813 OPS, and a 121 OPS plus, 12 home runs, and 41 RBIs this season. The contract covers 2 pre-arbitration years, 4 arbitration years, and 2 free agent years. The contract also includes 2 club options, one for 2030, which would be $15 million with a $5 million buyout, and 2031, which would be valued at $20 million with a $5 million buyout also. Harris will be 29 years old when the contract is up in 2029. This to me is just another, like, everyone talks about, and I've started to hear it a lot more lately, and I guess because of Albert Pujols being Albert Pujols, but like everyone talks about the Cardinals magic. There's Braves magic. Like somehow they are able to trance you in. They bring you into, the Braves organization, and they're like, hey, you're gonna go ahead and sign with us for $5 million a year because we know you're going to be a star, and this is going to be a steal in about 3 years. I mean, they got Ronald Acuna Jr. for like, what is it? Like 8 years, $100 million. I believe that's the contract. And Ozzy Albies for 5 years, $35 million. And even Matt Olson, they have Matt Olson for 8 years. What is it? $168 million. So, I mean, this is just a great pickup for the Braves because even if he's a bust, it's not going to hurt you financially too much in the long run. So yeah, this is just awesome by the Braves. In about 5 years, we're going to be like, my gosh, the Braves just stole Michael Harris, the third best outfielder in the game, for $72 million. Like, I can't believe he held out for that long. But apparently he's born in Georgia too. He's a Braves fan. And all these Braves fans want to play for Georgia. And they're even looking to sign Swanson too. Or extend Swanson. And he's a homegrown Georgia fan too. So Josh, what do you think about this?
I think Harris sold himself short. Even on that length of a deal, I mean, I would have wanted on that length of a deal, I would have won $100 million as my first big contract. That's not damaging to the team. That's good for you. That sets your family up. It gives you a nice little nest egg, and you can do what you want the rest of your career. And if you get better, even at what you say is going to be 29 at the end of that contract, then you get to go get another big contract because you're securely in your prime for another 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
And if the bat stays good with the DH everywhere, you're in your prime for another 7 to 8 years. So the Braves win again. They do this all the time with the contracts. They score great players. Yeah, the Braves had a lull there for a while where they weren't, top dogs. They're always in it, but they weren't the dominant team that they were in the 90s. I mean, it's – and not to bring St. Louis baseball into this, but it's similar to the St. Louis Cardinals organization. They are two fantastic organizations. They've been around forever. They have great reputations. They have great fans. They're in good cities. This is what happens. This is why baseball is one of the best sports out there, and it's a shame that the younger generation doesn't get into the game. The game is about more than just the game itself. It's about the relationship players have with the city and the towns and the organizations and what it does to provide avenues for others. This is where I get romantic about baseball. I feel the same way about hockey, where football and basketball don't have those kind of connections, in my opinion. Hockey does that in hockey cities, and Logan hates hearing me talk about hockey, sorry. But you see this in St. Louis with hockey. St. Louis is a hockey hotbed. I mean, they do everything to grow the sport in the city of St. Louis. Chicago also is a big hockey city. All the Canadian areas, they're all hockey centralized because that's what you play in Canada. But with baseball, it's teams like the Cardinals, it's the Braves, the Cubs, it's the Reds organization. It's these fans that don't go away. Even Darin's team, Oakland, I mean, the fans are still fans of the team, and they haven't been good in – Darin, can you give me a number here? How long? 15 years?
2 years?
No. We've always been we made the playoffs 3 years ago.
But I mean, World Series driven. When was the last time they were World Series caliber?
Probably like 10. Well, they made the ALCS like 2006, I think.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to refer to.
Was it the walk-off by Ordonez? Was it?
Maglio Ordonez.
Yeah.
Ordonez. Off Houston Street.
Was it Street? I thought it was Balfour for some reason.
No, Balfour was on the teams way later. He was about 10 years
yeah.
old.
But it's what these cities do. And these kids who grow up loving baseball, they want to go play for their home team. And when you get the opportunity, sometimes you can make more. But because you want to play there, you'll take less. And it's smart. It's smart by that player because that means he knows there's more money to put talent around him to win a championship for the team he wants to win the championship with. I don't know how the deal went down. I don't know the details. If that's the angle that Harris took, I would pat him on the back, and he's the kind of a player I would want in the Cardinals organization. If it's just what the Braves offered him, he said, heck, I'll take it because I want to play for the Braves. Cool. Good for them. They stole him. I don't think he's going to be the third best outfielder in the league. Not at least for 5 or 6 years. But he'll probably be a top 10 outfielder for the next decade.
Yeah. I agree with what you guys said about the Braves organization. I mean, forever. I've always liked the Braves. Not liked them, but I've always kind of been annoyed by their announcers and stuff like that, going back because they were always on TBS and all that stuff. So they were always on TV. Even as a West Coast team, I got to always see them. So it was nice to have a game on. So I agree with you on that. They kind of remind me of the Indians a little bit when they went through that little run when they had – when they signed all those guys young, when they had, Kenny Lofton they signed, Tomei they signed, Ramirez they signed.
Yeah.
They signed all these guys young, kind of kept that core together. Vizquel they signed, and they went on that little run in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that's kind of what it reminds you a little bit. The Braves are just smart. Now think about it. They traded the A's, which was their top center field prospect, which was ahead of Harris. So they probably knew something ahead of time, knowing they liked maybe Harris more. They trade Christian Pass to the A's in that Olsen deal. They bring up Harris. That's now, and he's playing in what's Pash back in the minors. So the Braves are just pretty smart like that. They know their own players better than other organizations. maybe it's because they scout him, like you guys said, in state quite a bit there. So I think it's a great deal for the Braves. I heard him say in an interview that the reason he didn't want to take more, he's happy with an annual $9 million a year salary, is he just wants to be taken care of. And he said he'll still be a free agent by the time he's 30. So that's what his thought process is. So
yeah, it's hard to bet on yourself when you're a rookie too. I mean, that's just one of those things. Which I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's still a lot of money, and I'd kill for that. I mean, I'd sell my body for $78 million, but let's talk about the Braves organization for a second, because they're in talks of extending Dansby Swanson. Like I said, they extended Matt Olson for $168 million, Michael Harris for $72 million, Austin Riley for $212 million. All this season. Like I said, they have Ozzie Albies, who's locked up for another 3 years, I believe. And like that entire core is young, and they're locked up. William Contreras, I think, is the only player who's not really locked up. And so that's just, it's interesting. Swanson, like most of the players, grew up in Georgia and is expected to give a hometown discount, like a Xavier Bogaerts contract. That was what I was hearing. So I think it was like 7 million or 7 years. So yeah, I mean, if they extend Swanson, that's gonna set them up for a good while,
especially on the hitting side.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Still got Freed and those guys I got to sign probably eventually, but we'll go from there. Yeah, Freed and now the guys are pretty young.
Wright and Strider, yeah, but they have plenty of time with them. With those newer kids, I don't know about Soroka if they're going to try to keep him, but
that'll be interesting.
They're just really good on all cylinders. They're good at developing. They're good at scouting. They're good at getting you early and betting on you early, basically. Something the Cardinals are not good at with Paul DeJong, apparently. But luckily they're done with him after next year. But yeah, that's pretty impressive to me.
It's very impressive.
Josh, do you have anything else you want to say on that one?
The Braves are loading up, man. They're gonna try to be competitors for the next 5 to 7 years. If I'm a Braves fan, I am stoked.
Yeah.
Even if we don't win this year, I'm like, who cares? Our window is huge. Baseball teams don't typically get big windows like this. Atlanta's setting it up to have a huge, long window where they can cycle through the players they need to cycle through, but they have that core, and that those young guys that are going to be that core are going to grow together, and that locker room is going to become very, very tight. And in the down times and the hard times, August, they're going to be able to power the team through and keep the team in check. I would be very, very excited if I was a Braves fan right now.
Yeah. They also have Vaughn Grisham, who's coming up, and oh my gosh, he's doing pretty well.
He's off to an unreal start.
Yeah, I watched him play against the Astros, and that was amazing. I saw this tweet. Mike Trout's contract is $426 million. Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Michael Harris contracts combined is for $419 million.
I mean, exactly, and that's not how you build a team like the Angels do. I mean, you're right. That's just right there. That tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, Mike Trout is Mike Trout, but man, it's when you don't have anything else there, it's pretty bad.
No.
But yeah, that's pretty impressive, and I hope all the players on the team are actually happy about that. They're not like, I'm sure Acuna is not happy, but anyways. So let's talk about the Yankees. Are 5-14 in the month of August. They haven't won a series since July 30th. What is the problem? I almost sound like Jerry Seinfeld right there for a second there. What's the deal with the Yankees? Yeah. That's bad.
Somebody's
What,
gotta
Josh?
say that.
They traded Jordan Montgomery.
Well, that was
It's not a terrible idea there, Josh. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty stupid.
yeah, and
I mean, he was what 3-3 with them as a starter, but he was chewing up innings, putting in good baseball, and he just wasn't getting the W's because the team wasn't having his back 100%. But they were still winning games in which he pitched. He's come over to St. Louis, and as of right now, he's through 5 innings scoreless. I still don't think he's allowed
he's
allowed
allowed
to run
one run.
yet. He's allowed one run, and all of his starts in St. Louis. He even went and had his photo changed because in his original photo when he came over to the team, it was very. Now the dude's got a grin ear to ear, and he's smiling. He's got a little peach foot, or not peach foot, but a little 5 o'clock shadow in. He's happy to be in St. Louis, and post trade, he's got to be super happy to be in St. Louis and not be in New York currently.
Well, yeah.
I think Josh is happier than Jordan Montgomery. I think.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't at the beginning, which is always funny to me.
I
He was
wasn't
like,
as sour on Bader. Why do you keep playing me up like I was mad about Bader being traded?
no, you were like, I'm not excited about this Montgomery guy.
Because I originally heard he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I know. I was
Dude
saying
went and
that's
got his picture retaken with a smile on his face. He's pitching
He's
well. I'm
feeling
good
better.
with him.
I'm not calling you
Yeah.
out. I was just saying, you were kind of, iffy about him at the beginning.
I was
And
very
so-
iffy.
and
I
so
didn't know
you're-
a thing about it.
And now you love him. He's your favorite player. He's one of your favorites now. But yeah, I mean,
he's one of the players I have most confidence in when he's on the mound.
you have to believe because the Yankees, they were in on Luis Castillo. They were favorites to get Castillo. They were favorites to get Benintendi, who they did get, and he's just shit the bed. They also really they went and got Montes, and Montes has been really bad for them, which I don't know if that's necessarily all his fault. I want to say, not even the shoulder. I think he just was not getting consistent pitching. And when I say this all the time, pitchers are freaks. Like Garrett Cole got pissed off because the first pitch was thrown 4 minutes late on opening day.
And we both ragged
when
on
they
him
had,
about that.
and Joe Torre was out there and all the Hall of Famers, and it's just like no. So and
How about that for Joe
I
Torre?
have
He got to go to 2 opening days.
yeah, and I have to believe that the Yankees were about to get Pablo Lopez from the Marlins, which is why they traded Jordan Montgomery. That is the only reason why I would think that they traded him, but it just kind of fell through at the last minute, and now it looks like they were just idiots because pitching was their biggest problem, and they went and got Montes, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we're going to get rid of Montgomery." So yeah, Darin, do you know what the problem is?
I think I do, gentlemen. Here, let me give you a desk. From watching, I with Montas, I'm going to say right away as an A's fan, he was not that great. And I always feel like you pitch in the AL West in Oakland, then go to Yankee Stadium, go against the different lineups. That is always a big thing. So I just want to keep that in mind. It's not like Montas was, he's a lights out all-star. He's not like that. He didn't have, he's okay, but he had his moment. So I'm not surprised. He could go on a stretch here where he's good too, but I'm not surprised he's struggling. To me, it's the hitting. It's the hitting. They've been shut out 4 times in this stretch. The Yankees shut out? Are you kidding me? If you look at their lineup, I always feel that you guys can tell me the same way. You guys sound like you guys always watch baseball season from start to end. If a team starts out hot, that doesn't always mean they're going to finish them. And I feel like it's very rare for a team to go from very start to end in 162 games and play as well as you can. To me, the key is for the Yankees is turn around in September. You know how baseball works. You just got to get hot at the end. So they're still fine. I think they're okay, but the hitting has not been good. And to me, the biggest reason is Stanton. I really love Stanton. I think he's a great player, but he's always hurt. So if you're not able to play, man, it doesn't matter. But when he's in and you have him, Judge, and Rizzo, and then you have DJ LeMahieu in your order, that's pretty solid hitters right there. That to me, that makes a big difference when Stanton's not in the lineup.
Well, I was going to touch on that too because the Cardinals series against the Yankees was very telling because I'm
It
not.
was a
I mean,
great
I
series.
it was, and I don't follow.
It was.
I mean, I probably follow the Yankees more than a lot of other fans do.
I follow quite a bit too because I have
yeah.
Cole and Judge. I love
Yeah.
those guys. So yeah.
But Anthony Rizzo had comments where he was like, I'd play in this Cardinal series, but it's August and it's not even worth it right now. And then Giancarlo Stanton says, "Oh, I want to play, but they won't let me because it's August." And so I think the Yankees front office and management is like, "Hey, let's make sure that we're prepared because we have a little bit of breathing room in the East, but let's be prepared to." And it's kind of hurting the team morale right now. Whereas in July, the team morale was really high, and extremely high. And
did you see Aaron Boone yesterday?
Yeah, he was hitting the table.
Bang the table. Unbelievable, Josh. What's going on there? And that was nice to see. I'll take that.
And I think Aaron Boone kind of has to do that because if he goes around and he's like, we're right where we want it. We're in a rough patch. If he's not animated like that, he's fired. Even if that's completely the plan right there.
Doing what Josh did to you pregame.
Relax.
Yeah. And I firmly believe that they were gonna say they wanted to take a step back and just kind of rest all their starters because the month of August is sucky for players.
You can't rest starters. Are you kidding?
That's
you
can't
the thing. Rest starters.
That's
That's how you become crappy in baseball.
Yeah, but I don't think they expected it to hurt so bad. I think that's a problem. And
baseball players live in a rhythm.
Yeah,
if you sit them for more than 2 or 3 games, even if you sit them for 2 games, a hitter can lose his swing. Not lose his swing, but he can lose his rhythm, his feels.
Confidence.
Dude, the Yankees in my opinion, made the biggest mistake in the entire MLB this season at this point by taking August off. They basically just cashed in August and said, we're not going to worry about it because we're up 15 games going into August. Their lead in the East is shrunk to 8. I mean, how many division games do they have left? And most of their division's playing well minus Boston. They lose.
Blue Jays even.
And they lost to Boston last week.
Yeah. First time Boston
they can lose.
That was the first time Boston has won a series against an AL East team the entire season.
Oh, geez.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, that's terrible.
Well, us beating the Yankees was the first time we beaten an AL East team in a series all season.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Because we lost the series to Tampa. We lost to Boston. We lost to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think we split with Toronto.
Hey, boys, the AL playoffs, I know you guys are NL fans, but the AL playoffs are shaping up to be pretty good this year.
Oh, it'll be fun.
They're going to be pretty competitive. I like some of the there's going to be some good matchups, I feel like, this year.
But what I will say is I don't think any fan should be surprised if in September Yankees start getting it back again, and they're going to be like, listen, now we've rested for a month. We've had our rough patch because you kind of want to do that. You want to get that rough patch done before October for sure. But because we've seen that happen, like the Dodgers, basically, they are hot the entire season, and then right when October hits, they get knocked out early. Yeah, they get kicked in the balls, and that's just rough.
Well, this is what the Cardinals do every year. They play great in April. They have a rough May. Usually their June's horrible. And they start turning around after the All-Star break in July. And then in August and September, they're great.
Play unreal in September.
Yeah, it's almost stupid. This is why, as a Cardinals fan, I don't even get mad about the Cardinals until it gets to July. Because that's when I know what the team really is and how they play ball.
That makes
sense. For the Yankees to cool down so fast in August,
a screeching
with
halt.
all the talent they have,
yeah,
that to me says there's a bigger problem than, hey, we just got a little cold.
I don't think their offense is as good. I think that's what we're underrating here. I mean, think about it. Rizzo, are you like, oh, no. I mean, like, Gleyber Torres, no. It's Stanton, Judge. Like, those are the guys with DJ LeMahieu in the back, and these other guys got to do something.
Well, they had, what was it, Matt King, Matt Carpenter, another reliever.
Carpenter's
pitcher.
out for the year too now.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming back in a couple weeks, but
I thought he was out for the year. No,
well, they thought he was going to be, but he apparently is a fast healer.
Oh,
And so-
breaking
Yeah,
news.
right. Yeah, sorry, my best friend Matt Carpenter gave me the scoop there.
Logan got the scoop. I like
Yeah,
that.
right. But yeah, I mean, they're kind of playing a little bit handicapped right now, and like you said, Stan is always injured, but I mean, I think he wants to play. They're not letting him play because if he misplays one game, he's out for the season.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, do we have any other thoughts on the Yankees right now?
It's okay if they're a little bad, right? It's okay if they should.
Yeah.
It's fantastic if they're
That's
a
my
little
last.
bad.
That's my last.
Yeah. Makes the East a lot more interesting because now the Orioles are knee deep in the East, I believe.
Now they're really making Vegas nervous over there.
Here, let me just give you a quick rundown of where we're at here. New York 74-48, 8 games in front of Tampa and Toronto. Then Baltimore 63-50. And Baltimore's only 10.5 out. And then you go look at the wild card. Baltimore's only 2.5 games out of the wild card spot.
Dang.
I love you. You know why? Because I was about to do that, and then you did it. And
Nice.
it's like you read my mind sometimes, and I love that.
The longer
anyways.
we do this, the more we're going to key in on each other, right? Like, I'm getting there.
I'll see you later. Anyways, okay. Here's something that hits close to home for you, Darin.
Yeah.
The Athletics. Oh my gosh, I had a stroke right there. Released
You
Elvis
okay?
Andrus and Stephen Piscotty last week.
Yes.
And Andrus was picked up by the White Sox. Piscotty hasn't been picked up yet, I don't think.
Sorry.
Piscotty has not been good since St. Louis, really.
Come on home, Steven. We'll rejuvenate your career.
No. Nope. I'm done rejuvenating careers in St. Louis.
Hey, it's worked for the last year for the 2 pitchers.
Yeah, that's true. I'm afraid that devil magic is going to wear out. But Darin, since you're kind of you're the Athletics fan here. I mean, obviously they were wasted of roster spots, but I mean, was this shocking to you? Were you sad a little bit, or
About the Piscotty Andrews thing?
yeah?
Yeah, the Piscotty thing, I got to push back on you a little bit, Logan, there. He was actually quite good for the A's for a couple of years when they first got him. Like, he was very important to them making the playoffs for the few years that they had. And he had some big games there. He had a few walk-offs for him. He gave them – and as you guys know, the reason that the Cardinals did this very cool is they traded him out here because he's from this area. He went to Stanford. His mom was dying of cancer. And so they traded him out here, kind of almost as a wink deal from the Cardinals, in my opinion, to the A's.
Yeah.
So, and I always liked Piscotty when he was on the Cardinals. So when we got him, I was actually really happy. And he was good for a few years, not like all-star, but capable all-star, and he was solid. So it is a little bittersweet in that area for the A's. Like, I do a lot of A's Twitter and stuff like that, and there was a lot of fans that were pretty not upset about the move, but just they liked him and stuff like that type of deal. And it's hard not to like a story from somebody like that. As you guys know, pretty good guy. Andrews, I could care less. Whatever from him. He was terrible. I don't even care they got 3 RBIs today for the White Sox. He was one of the worst A's of all time. He was terrible. He had a bad attitude. Didn't like him really much at all. It was a terrible signing at the very beginning when the A's did it. It made no sense to me. And he was pissed when he didn't get traded at the deadline, and so I'm not surprised he got cut now. So yeah, I'm a little bittersweet about with Scotty, but the A's are now at least bringing up some young guys. And as you know, as a baseball fan, if you got some young guys to watch, it at least kind of makes it more fun again. So that's where
If they
we're
lose,
at.
they're learning,
Exactly.
Yeah,
and they're going to lose. So let's hope they learn a lot.
Like I said, maybe 500 second half. Though. Still 40 games under 500.
Andrews, I mean, he needed to retire like 7 years ago. I swear.
He hasn't been good.
No, he hasn't. He's been mediocre.
Do those guys hang on because they're just solid enough defensively at shortstop or something, and they have a track? Because his on base percentage I think is like 720. His average is like 230. He's not good. I mean, other than maybe getting hot in the postseason, I don't. Maybe that's what the White Sox for them. Who cares? But to me, you're right. For a full season, he's done.
Yeah, I think he had a massive contract too. It was
Well,
8 years,
before that,
100, 8 years, 120 million.
That's not bad for Elvis.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I never liked him. Even though I was a Ranger, I grew up in Ranger, fan
Country.
base. Yeah.
Ranger country.
Yeah. And I just never liked him.
Oh my God! Albert Pujols just hit number 693,
Are you kidding me?
and the Cardinals take the lead.
Well, I guess we should talk about that real quick.
Logan, can I?
Go.
I don't know if you heard our podcast. That was our very first subject this week was Albert Pujols. Could he hit 700? Boys, you're from St. Louis. Can he get? I said he can get it this year.
Doing it.
Can he do it this year? It's 7 away now. Are you kidding me?
Last week I would have said no, but then he started going off, and I was like, once he got 691, I was like, oh fuck, he's actually getting it. Like it hit me because listen, at the beginning of the season we were all like, okay, he might get it, but it's kind of a pipe dream, like. Yeah, I was kind of like, he's gonna get, with our luck, he's gonna get 699.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why my dad was screaming in the background. Anyways, but that was anyways. So yeah, so like hitting 690 was just a realization, like, oh my gosh. And I think I tweeted you guys. I said, listen, 2009 called. They want their version of Albert Pujols back, and listen. He's already Player of the Month. There's no way. There's no other player right now. He just won Player of the Week with Paul Goldschmidt, which is awesome actually, because he's on. If he had the same start as he did like the past 2 months, he might be MVP too.
Dude, this ball was this high that he hit out of the park. It was in his letters.
But yeah, I think
Sorry.
I think I'm just saying, like, I think 700 is really, really possible because we have another month and a half left.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's remember, I'm the one who at the beginning of the season said he could hit the 700, and I said he could get the RBIs. Now, the RBIs aren't going to happen. Yes.
Damn.
I said he could get both.
What's the RBIs?
He needed like 68.
He's not going to get that, right?
For what?
Like
is it all-time Cardinals right there?
No, it was a league, something or other.
Yeah.
But I said he'd get the 700, and I said he'd get the RBIs. I also thought he was going to play a little bit more at the beginning of the season than he did. If they would have played him at the beginning of the season like they're playing him now, he easily would have gotten it. We'd already be past 700, and he'd have 65 RBIs.
Well,
he also hit off his 449th different pitcher. He just tied Bonds.
Well,
he's going to break that.
He said, like, right before the All-Star game, he said, listen, I wasn't feeling right, and then all of a sudden I figured something out. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Series. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's nice. Good job, Albert. I'm sure that's going to go away in about 5 minutes, especially when he hits in the home run derby, which is going to fuck up his swing. And then all of a sudden it really is
great.
Yeah,
Logan has to eat crow right now because he was so negative about it.
No, it wasn't. I said it was possible.
You were positive about it.
I was like, it was
positive about it.
Listen, 21 home runs is hard to do, and for 42-year-old,
you guys realize you had the best baseball player in the since Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
you have had the best baseball player on your team, and now you guys did do the Mike. You guys didn't do the Mike Trout thing. You said, "Screw it, we can't pay you. We want a better team all the way around." But you originally you guys had the best players. We did that on our pod. To me, there's no other better hitter since Bonds, and he's by far.
Yeah.
Who the hell starts out their career like he did? His first 4 years are sick.
Well, like if you look at his stats, if Bonds isn't playing in the 2000s, he has 6 MVPs in the 2000s alone.
Yeah, he's an animal.
And like, oh my gosh,
since you brought up Bonds,
okay.
Even though Bonds had more home runs, I will still argue that Albert is a better hitter than Bonds.
No, I'm not.
You put their careers up against each other. Albert's a better hitter than Bonds.
You
know why? Because you look at Bonds when he entered the league.
Yes.
And look at Bonds when he exited the league. Look at Albert when he entered the league, and now look at him now.
Okay, so
Albert's
you're
a
basing
better
it on
hitter.
steroids. I got you.
I'm not even saying steroids, but there's
Well,
no.
you said based on body physique. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
he had something there. Now Bonds could hit the ball before he got jacked. I'll give him that, but he was not as good in his first 5 years as Albert was in his first 5 years.
Didn't he win an MVP a couple times?
He won
or
with
at
the
least
Pirates.
He won 3 with the Pirates. I know. I agree with you that I saw Bonds all the time. That's going to be. I saw like every at bat all the time. Just kind of how you probably. So it's going to be a little. It's going to be hard for. Yeah, you saw Pujols probably every at bat. So you're seeing him like work the count, break it down. He's the only hitter you had this. He's the only hitter Bonds where I was like, oh, he has an advantage on the pitcher. He's literally the only hitter where I was like, he has an advantage on the pitcher. Usually the pitcher always has the advantage. Pujols, he's next. I'm telling you, he's next. And that homer he had off Brad Lidge was the one that puts it to me. Just his whole career, just
the 05 series.
Yeah, that to me he's the second best player and since Bonds. To me, that's where he's at. That's how good he is. 7.693, Josh, unreal. Wow.
This is the thing for me. Barry Bonds, and listen, we can talk about the steroids thing as an advantage, but he had an on-base percentage career of a 444.
Yes. Did he really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Pujols has a 375 career. Now, Pujols, this is the thing for me, is Pujols went from 15 to 21, where he was not there. And if maybe it's, and a lot of people say, he wasn't on a competitive team, and that's why because once he went to the Dodgers, it just flipped back on for him. He was the machine right there. So that's my thing is Barry Bonds, he was just consistent the entire time. And he was consistently great. And you can talk about the steroids, but a 444 on base percentage, he had, what was it? 2,558 walks. I mean, he had a great eye. I always talk about Juan Soto having one of the best eyes in the game. Barry Bonds did. And this was before, steroids. He was already an established, really great. He had a really great plate discipline and everything.
I mean, Bonds is the best player to ever hit. I mean, it's just not. I mean, I love Pujols, but and roids, I just can't put my mind in the roid area because it just like I said, advantage over hitter Bonds.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy to think about in that regard.
Yeah,
and walk with the bases loaded.
I mean, even if you look over at his stats before, what was it, 99 when he started using?
Yeah. No, probably more 2001, I think.
2001?
Yeah.
I mean, he was already like a really established.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hitter. Now he started winning like 15 MVPs in a row after 2001, and you can definitely tell the difference. But he was already a really great player.
Hey, what do you think's harder than, guys? 700 home runs or what we talked about last week, the perfect game? I mean, 700 home runs, there's only 3 of them, right? It's got to be that.
Yeah, 307.
Or there's only 2 of them right now. No, 3. Sorry, 3.
There's 3. It's Hank Aaron, Bonds, and Babe. Yeah.
It'd be cool to see somebody join 700. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it's a lot more fun to watch.
Definitely.
Oh, my ring. Look at this picture, though.
Oh,
they don't even look like the same damn person.
They didn't make protein shakes, damn it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, and look, obviously, we don't know for sure what his – but, I mean, like, even before he started using the steroids, he has a lot of bold in his baseball reference. I mean, and he was always in the MVP.
Wasn't he a 9-time Gold Glover?
His plate vision was ridiculous.
Yeah. 7-time MVP, home run derby champ, 14-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glove, 2 batting title, 3 Major League Player of the Years, and 12 Silver Sluggers. I mean, now without the steroids, that's 9 Silver Sluggers. That's what is it? That's 4 MVPs.
He's a beast.
And that's over this. This is over the span of 86 to 2001, which is what 15 years.
And that's why I think Pujols' thing is very, very cool.
Yeah,
because we don't see hitters like this every 20 years.
Yeah,
like that's what we're seeing. We're seeing an all-timer right here, like literally a guy that will hit 700 home runs. My kids might not even see that, and there's a ton of home runs hit right now. That's my point. Is that's to me, that's why I love baseball. Like Josh said, like the romantic. I love that stuff of it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like interleague. Like there are reasons I don't like it. I love that mystique of things, the all-star game team. So I just appreciate all that stuff. So to me, 700 is a big deal.
Well, let's do this real quick because we're talking about Barry Bonds. Jacob deGrom versus Barry Bonds. I saw this on a tweet. 50 at-bats. Who wins? Who has the most,
what do we consider a win for a hitter? Batting 300?
Home runs.
Okay, home runs is what matters.
Home runs?
I would say.
Against DeGrom?
Yeah. It's a tough one.
I think a win is, anything with an extra base. That's just me.
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, if you're giving me 50 at bats,
agree with me, Darin?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Let's do that.
50 at bats. I'm saying he at least can get. I want to be arrogant and say 10, but I want to say like 9 through 11. So I want to say 10. I want to say he's gonna. I don't want to say he can get 9. I mean, 9 is the number I'm thinking. So 9
extra base hits.
Yeah, extra base hits and home runs. So that'd be like 5 doubles, 4 homers. There's obviously walks involved. We don't need to get into all that crap. So yeah, I'm gonna say over 9, close to 8.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 19.
Good Lord. Well, that's even better. Jacob deGrom, you suck. What's going on, man? You got to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
If Logan's bringing it up and he knows I don't like either, then I'm not a big fan of either one of these players.
You don't like deGrom?
I don't think he's.
You don't like that he gets injured all the time.
Right. I don't like guys who get injured all the time. That's my problem. If you're not available, you're not worth the money to me.
Let me tell you something. I was getting there too, and then he came back off the injured list, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's the greatest pitcher of all time. But I think, oh my gosh, I think Barry Bonds gets it. I think Barry Bonds wins. I think he gets I think he goes 30, like 30 extra base hits.
Dang,
that many?
Because, I mean, you look at the players he played. I mean, I think the closest thing to Jacob deGrom is the big unit.
Randy Johnson?
He didn't face Randy a ton. I'd say
Did he not?
No, I mean, he murdered Greg Maddux. I think he's
Greg Maddux.
Yeah, or I think Maddux is the guy he struggled against the most. But yeah, I think I think Gwynn's the guy that killed Maddux. I had them confused for a second. Because he played in the NL, so he saw a lot of NL West pitchers. Johnson was on the Mariners most of his career over there.
Right.
Roger Clemens too. I think they faced quite a bit, right?
Yeah, as they got into when he played for the Astros. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like Barry Bonds gets it, and I don't know
if it'd be 30 though. I mean, I would go as high as 25 and say it was a 50-50 split, but 30 that's a lot. I think deGrom's smart enough; he would work him different, and once he started teeing off on him, deGrom would start doing something different. I mean, deGrom's a good pitcher. Like I said, my issue with deGrom is he's always injured. I don't like guys who are always hurt.
Yeah,
I just don't.
That's fair.
Yeah.
At least big money guys.
He doesn't like the big money. One last piece of news before we move on. Joey Votto has announced that he has a torn rotator cuff and will miss the rest of the season. He has another year left on his contract.
1 more year.
With a club option after next season, which the Reds are not likely to pick up unless they just really feel nostalgic. Do you think this is the end of Joey Votto next season?
Darin, you go first.
I think he's going to play a couple more.
Really?
I think he'll have like a Pujols type thing. He'll go to a team. I know you guys had those Reds guys on a couple seventh inning stretches ago, a few weeks ago, so I listened to that podcast. And I know they thought that they were kind of saying how Votto is kind of like, well, he only wants to win with the Reds. Well, he ain't winning with the Reds. So he needs to figure out, he's either retiring or he's going to try to go to another team. I would think he would try to play with another team one more year, see if he can win a ring. maybe it's not as valuable as winning with Cincinnati, but still a ring. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think he'll give it a try.
I did like that idea. That, I don't know if you heard it, but they said, he wants to. It would be. He would probably be open to playing for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah,
And I thought that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea where he can DH.
Yeah. I think his problem is he doesn't want, and I think this was how I interpreted it, was that he doesn't want to play for a super team. He doesn't want to go to Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James team. He wants to go to.
Oh, he's incorporating basketball.
Look at that. Well, that's just what we used last time, so I'm recycling. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, this season
I would take Votto to the Cardinals.
Him and Pools.
Well, I don't think Pools comes back.
Righty lefty.
But I would if Pools is gone and Yachty's gone, that clears up a little bit of money. If we need a veteran bat who can teach the younger players how to see the ball out of the pitcher's hands and maybe give him some hitting instruction, I would take him as a DH. If he hits an 80-plus games, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah. I mean, this season was a down season. He tweeted, he goes, I thought this year I just sucked. It turned out I was injured. And he had a 319 on base with a 689 OPS with an 86 OPS plus. But last season, he had a 938 OPS. The year 20, he had 800 OPS, 768 and 19, 837 and 18, a 1.032 in 17. I mean, he hasn't had a bad season.
Ever.
And he kind of fell off after, 2012, 2013. And it's kind of weird. And I was like, I don't think I kind of fell into it because I didn't really look at his stats. And I was like, I don't think he's MVP anymore, or not MVP, a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's a shoo-in. But, looking at these stats, he has a career 926 OPS and a 145 OPS plus with 342 home runs and 1,106 RBIs. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Now, I don't know if he stays after next season, just because he's 38 years old now. He's going to be 40 when his contract is up, because he's almost 39 right now. I don't see him. I think it's either the Reds, Blue Jays, or bust, or he's like, I'm just done. So yeah. But anyways, that goes for that one. Do we have you for a little bit longer, Darin? Or
yeah, I got about like 10, 15 more minutes. If you guys are good with that.
Yeah, let's do a quick standings look.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go into the other topic just because we talked enough about Albert Pujols and Barry Bonds. That was fun.
That was fun though.
Yeah. Let's start with the NL West. Dodgers 84-36, San Diego 68-56, San Francisco 60-61, Arizona 55-66, Colorado 53-70. The biggest thing right here is, the Dodgers had the best record in baseball, but the Padres have a wild card spot, but they're losing it right now. They are 5-5 in the last 10. Are we worried about the Padres?
I'm not too concerned yet. I still feel like they're okay. I think they can get in the playoffs. I mean, they have concerns for me, obviously, making it a deep run in the playoffs, but I just the teams behind them, I just feel like they're better than them. So kind of like our theory with the Yankees a little bit, not quite the same team, but yeah, I think they'll play a little better here. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Well, it's kind of funny because this is like the exact same time that they fell apart last season.
True.
And I was like, oh man. And now they're not getting Tatis back, which may be a blessing, but it may also, it kind of throws a wrench in their plans, because now they don't have any shortstop. They may go get it.
Hader hasn't been good for them.
Oh gosh.
They had to remove him from the closer position. So Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some issues. I just kind of don't
Giving
really
them
like
a
the
break.
other team behind the Padres more so.
Yeah. Right now it's Atlanta, San Diego, Philadelphia, and then Milwaukee is a game and a half back, and San Francisco is 6 games back.
Yeah, not a big.
Yeah.
I think they're better than Milwaukee and San Francisco.
Oh yeah, I believe that too. So yeah. Oh come on, you stupid thing.
I don't think San Francisco's got enough to even make the playoffs, unless something miraculous changes in the next 5 weeks. I do think Milwaukee can get in as a wild card. To be honest with you, that wouldn't be mind blowing to me. I think it could be very possible, especially if San Diego continues to play 500 baseball. San Diego might be out, and it could be Philly and Milwaukee in there in the wild card spots. I think it's a damn shame that Atlanta's going to probably win 90-something games. They're going to be a wild card team.
Yeah.
Unless the Mets falter. But can we talk about and you know how I feel about the Dodgers. 700 win percentage? Are you freaking kidding me? That's insane.
They're like 36-4 in their last 40 games.
It's nuts. The Cardinals play the Dodgers in September. And that's going to be the testament to me with the way the Cardinals look like they've been rejuvenated. By the way, Montgomery's going into his 8th inning right now of service tonight, which would mean our starters have gone 7 or more innings with the exception of 2 games, every game for like the last 8 games. It's just insane in my opinion. Like that's what the Cardinals need. But if we can hold up and we can win 1 and lose 2 close ones to the Dodgers, or even beat the Dodgers and take the series, that tells me where the Cardinals are at in comparison to record doesn't matter as much as matchup. And Darin, I don't know if you've heard this from me before. I know Logan has. In certain games against certain teams in certain situations, I don't think records actually matter. I think like the Cubs and the Cardinals, Yankees and Red Sox. I think you throw the records out the window when those teams play each other because it's a rivalry game. It's all about the matchup at that point.
Yeah,
that matchup's going to mean more to me than what the records are at the end of that series. But the Dodgers are just playing ungodly real. I thought San Diego was going to sneak up on the Dodgers and give them a run after the deadline, and that ain't happening. It's just not. The Dodgers are not catchable. The Mets are not going to catch the Dodgers. I think the Mets are a very beatable team by a couple teams that are going to make the playoffs in the NL, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any chance they go to the World Series and they have a Subway Series with the Yankees.
No.
At this point, I don't even know if the Yankees are going to make the World Series. I think it might be Houston.
Well, yeah, Houston is just
help Logan if it does, because that's just going to be hellacious for him.
Why? What's wrong with you?
I mean, you're not a big fan of Houston. You like their
I like him.
city.
I like Houston. I just don't. I don't care enough. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know. Like I like every team. Like I honestly I love baseball more than I probably love baseball more than I love the Cardinals. Honestly.
So do you like it more based on the players? Like do you like okay, like maybe for example, I don't like that guy as much, so maybe that team you're not, or do you just like every team?
Well,
I'm with you. I listen to all the radio. I listen to the teams, but there might be a player or a team whatever. So.
I'm actually more of a player guy. I love the players. I root for the players. I want. See, the thing is for me is like if every player does well, then the whole sport does well, and then it gets more people, and then we can all share in it. Which is why I'm like, guys, we got to get a salary floor, so that way we can have more competition here, and then we're not just.
If you have a floor, you have to have a cap. That's just how it works.
I know, and we need to have that conversation probably in an off season. But I
think I've come up with a cap number you'll actually agree with, though. Just so you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's hold this off for a second.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna get into it. But yeah, it's
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I just don't want to. I don't want to start spoiling it. Yeah. So that's my thing. Is I like. There are some players I don't like just because of their attitudes. Like, I don't like Anthony Rendon because there's been rumors, like, when he signed with the Angels, there were a lot of teams that were shocked that he took so much. He accepted a deal with so many years. I think it was 6 years. Because they said he wanted to. A lot of teams were expecting him to just take a short-term deal and make all his money, and then he can retire. And because he doesn't even like baseball, and I was like,
what he's doing.
You got to be shitting me. And so he's loving that he's injured right now.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, but that's my thing. And anyways, so the East, Mets 79-45, Atlanta 75-48. Philadelphia 66-55. Ooh, that's cool. Miami 52-69. Washington 41-82. The Mets are another team that is just unstoppable right now, and they just got the two best pitchers in baseball back, in Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. So that's really cool. And like Josh said, it's sad that Atlanta is, they're gonna probably get 90, 95 wins, and they still get the wild card unless the Mets just pull a Mets and implode, which it's not looking like. I mean, they're having fun too. Like the other day, Pete Alonso was. Did you see this? Buck Showalter had a pitching change, and Pete Alonso, he gave him the card that goes in the back pocket where it shows the shifts, and he hands Buck Showalter 2 lottery tickets.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And Showalter looks down. He's like, "What the heck?" And which is so weird.
Did he scratch it?
No, not on the mound. I don't think, but that would have been cool. But like Buck Showalter is having fun, and you don't ever see Buck Showalter, the manager, have fun.
No, he's business.
He's all like he's having fun with this team, and that's so cool. I love it when baseball teams have fun. It's not all business. It's not all got to be stoic here. They're like, oh yeah, we're having fun here.
Hey, bro, put a little star on this little topic about having fun. I'm gonna bring it up Wednesday.
Oh gosh, the anticipation is killing me. Listen, I've been pretty good at holding my tongue this evening. Central St. Louis Cardinals 69, nice, and 51. Milwaukee 64-56. Chicago 52-68. I'm not going to go with the rest of them because they all suck. Cardinals, this is something I noticed. They have the best DH in the National League. They have the best reliever in the National League in Ryan Helsley. They have the MVP and potentially Triple Crown winner in the league too. Potentially. No jinking. Also, Nolan Arenado, who's top 3 in MVP votes right now. And, they have a really good pitching rotation right now, which is really good. I think they're the 6th best team. So that's really exciting, especially as a Cardinal fan. Milwaukee imploding shit. Anybody on?
Yeah, I think it's Cardinals' division to lose. I mean, they're not losing this thing. The Brewers aren't good enough. You got to be feeling pretty good at this point right now. I mean, you'd have to really fall off, I feel like. So I feel like the Cardinals is just all right. Let's get there again. Yeah. Let's see what the matchup is, kind of like Josh was saying, and we'll go from there with it. So you guys are just as formidable as any team, and I expected it. I would be stunned if the Brewers came back.
Oh gosh.
Darin, my preseason prediction was that the Cardinals would win the World Series.
Yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah,
I was very much against that going into July.
Yeah.
Post trade deadline.
Yep.
I will arguably say we have one of the best starting rotations right now in baseball.
Okay.
With Michaelis, Wainwright, Quintana, and Montgomery.
Yep. And your bullpen's not like that.
And our bullpen's, more times than not, our bullpen gets the job done. Now, they do like to make it very interesting at times, like when we have a 5-run lead and they want to only win by 1.
We're going to have a packed show on Wednesday. I keep forgetting there's so many topics right now.
But let me tell you this much. If the Cardinals face off against the Phillies, the Mets, San Diego, or Milwaukee in the playoffs, they will beat every one of those teams. The problem teams for the Cardinals are going to be the Dodgers and Atlanta. If the Dodgers or the Braves can get knocked off before the Cardinals have to face them, the Cardinals will go to the World Series. and they will win.
Yeah.
Make a note now, Darin.
2 weeks
Right
ago.
now,
Talking season.
What was it? It wasn't the trade deadline, was it? But I said
I dated it too.
But I predicted the Cardinals are gonna, or I said the Cardinals are gonna win the World Series. I'm pretty comfortable on that one right now. They're just let me tell you something. Albert is leading this team, not just just as a plain leader, but he's hitting too, and he's I don't know about heart. He's about 2 years away from having a heart attack, but.
No, I'm saying his heart, his love of the game, his love of the team, the city.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about.
He is leading the team emotionally. His heart is leading that team.
Logan tried to kill him.
I didn't try to kill him. But I mean, I love it whenever he hits a home run, but I get scared every time he hits a home run where he has to. Like, can we just walk around the bases, maybe?
He's not doing conditioning in the offseason. We know this. He's playing with his kids.
But let's jump over to the AL real quick. Yankees 75-48. They're still 8.5 games above Tampa Bay, who's 65-55. Toronto is 65-55. Baltimore is 63-58.
Come on, Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, we want Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore.
I do want Baltimore. I've jumped on this train. Yeah,
Baltimore is such a fun team. They're 2.5 games back out of the wild card though, so we want. I honestly, let me tell you something. I'm not a fan of being against teams on this show. I've said that multiple times, but I fucking hate the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are the worst team. They play the game. It's like the nerds who are, they see the fans having fun over here, and they're like, oh, we can do better than that. And then they come in and they start hitting like trajectories and geometry. And I'm an analytics guy, but I don't like the way they play it.
Just because he admitted he's an analytics guy. He just doesn't like the way the Rays use analytics.
Like I said, they use it as a strategy and not a tool. And that's what I think that's their biggest problem is, you got to use analytics as a tool and not a strategy.
You take that note yourself, good sir.
I do. Anyways, so what the hell is that? Yeah.
Phone's out.
So yeah, we talked about the Yankees. We talked about the Orioles. I mean, the Blue Jays. Let me tell you something. The Blue Jays really need to pick it up. They have been mediocre this entire season. They've had some good stretches, but they've been with the team that they have. They were the favorites in all of baseball, and they have not lived up to their potential. And I know they're pitching like Ryu's injured. Barrios is not what he's been or they wanted him to be, obviously. But Alec Manoah, he's been great for them. Probably their MVP. So they really need to step it up. Darin?
Yeah, I agree. I think we kind of talked about the Yankees, kind of like we said earlier. But, yeah, the Blue Jays definitely need to kind of kick it in gear a little bit here, especially with the season winding down. I feel like they're better than the teams that are in the running there with the Rays and the Mariners. I feel like I thought they were better than that at the beginning of the year. So, like I said, I think they have one of the more deadly lineups, but it's just not like, baseball year to year, it can change a little bit here. So I think the potential's still there. Can they get in the dance? Like you said, all that matters. I mean, you guys were saying that I thought was funny. Like the Braves, they are going to get the wild card with 92. But I mean, come on, just like 10 years ago, there was teams missing that all the time with that stuff. I mean, the famous one out here is the Giants missing with 93. They won 102 games and missed the playoffs because the Braves beat them in the West. Yes, the Braves were in the West. That doesn't make sense, but yes, that's what it was.
That whole thing was weird. There wasn't even there wasn't even
a West to the
DS or a wild card back then or anything.
But right to the ALCS or the NLCS. It's
all kinds of messed up. My topic on Toronto is, they're not playing to their potential as a whole, but if they were in any other division in the AL, they would easily be good team. The Central, they'd be blowing it out. I think their record does not reflect their talent. because when you see them match up against teams in other divisions, they typically play fairly well. Logan, if you can pull that up quick enough on Baseball Reference, what their interdivision record is, and I could be wrong because I don't have numbers in front of me. I'm going off my.
I was just looking at that.
Yeah, if you can give that to me and help me out and back me up, maybe you can tell me I'm wrong. And what's new? You always tell me I'm wrong. Darin, you were allowed to laugh at that one.
In the East, they are 24. They are 24 and 24.
Okay, so minus the 24 wins and the 24 losses, I guess the record doesn't change all that much.
No,
it's about the same. So look, my argument just went to hell in a handbasket. I don't know. I think Toronto's a better team than what the record shows. I think it comes down to them just missing a piece here, missing a piece there. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has not been what I expected him to be this year. Bo Bichette has not been what I expected him to be this year. And I know Logan just got that look on his face. I expected these two guys to break out and be like Goldie and Arenado for the Cardinals. Just like lighten it up every month. One of them's in the top player of the month conversation. They haven't been that way. It is what it is. I would love for Toronto to be good, not because I like Canada or anything, but I picked Toronto to be a force to be reckoned with in the preseason, so I'd like to look intelligent.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They let me down. So
Vladdy has 26 home runs, 350 on base, and a 854 OPS. It's not bad. It's not as good as his last season. Yeah, it's definitely a.
If they get in, nobody wants to face them. That's
I hope so, especially with that fan base in the playoffs. It's one of the best in the playoffs. And then our last division, or second to last division, Central, Cleveland 64 and 56, Twins 62 and 58, White Sox 62 and 60. Oh my gosh, this is a terrible team. The Guardians have a .533 winning percentage. 8 games above 500. It's just the whole division is crap, and it annoys me to no end. So, I kind of want the Twins to win it, but I don't know that.
I'm pulling for the White Sox.
I honestly can't root for Tony La Russa right now.
I understand. I told you why I like Andrew Vaughn for them, so I'm pulling for the White Sox for that reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Andrew Vaughn.
I'm not pulling for any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna be in. They're gonna be loving it, and then they're gonna get out, especially if it's the Twins, because they're gonna face the Yankees, and the Yankees are gonna sweep them like they have the last 10 years, I think. By the way, quick Albert fact: Albert Pujols just became the second visiting player with at least 30 home runs at Wrigley Field in the division era since 1969.
Dang. He's got a lot there, for sure.
Yeah, 30 home runs. Yeah.
Montgomery right now has 1 out in the bottom of the ninth, going for a complete game, and his pitch count is 93, I think. I'm a little far away from the TV, and that's a little small. Okay. Montgomery might go for a perfect game with the Cardinals. Not perfect game, complete game.
I thought you pulled a Danny Mac on me. Okay, last division. Houston, 78 and 45. Seattle, 66 and 56. Rangers, 56 and 66. Astros are the best record in the AL. Seattle is finally picking up steam. What are they?
Still quite a base out.
Yeah, I mean they're in the wild card right now, which is good. So I mean, it's a really good division. They're both 6-4 in their last 10, so that's interesting. Astros, I think they just lost a series to the Braves.
And to the A's a week ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that's
there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting. So look,
they're still the best team.
Yeah, they're still the best team. Yeah, it's not like it's not a Yankees meltdown yet, but it's just interesting. So that's really cool. Next Monday we're gonna do an interesting, what we're playoff bracket things, and so we'll explore this more next week. But
Darin, you have to be here for that one.
Yeah, next week is going to be fun. I also have another special guest coming in that week, so it's going to be really fun.
He doesn't tell me anything, so I'm surprised.
Sorry, he just confirmed with me today, so sorry. But anyways, do we have anything else we want to say real quick?
Thanks, guys, having me on again. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, we love having you
with
on,
you,
man.
gentlemen.
You always come aboard.
Yeah, you're practically a member now. So,
Yeah, I'm looking
You
forward
might as
to
well
it.
just be a regular. So
yeah,
There
might
we
as well.
go. I'm
at
looking
least
forward
till
to
football season.
And there we go. There we
Hey.
go. I look forward to listening to that Wednesday one. Let's see what you guys got to say about the Cardinals there.
Oh,
so I'll
gosh.
keep a lookout for it.
My
I
knuckles
think
will be bloody
I have
by the end of that episode.
Oh gosh, I have Brandon Moore from the 5-hole moderating for us.
There you go. There you go.
The
Not the
fifth hole.
Sorry,
The fifth hole.
listen.
I knew what he meant, though.
I had a bad week. Okay, I was in a dark
you just
room.
played the 6th hole after that. You just played
Yeah,
six.
right. But anyways, Josh, Darin, do you want to plug Fat Boy Fadeaway real quick?
Yeah. Check us out, Fat Boy Fadeaway. Just did a podcast yesterday. Talked about your boy Pujols there hitting 700. Also talked a little bit about we talked a little bit NBA. Went there, then we jumped in, talked a little bit. I think you guys will like the topic: odd memorabilia. So things that aren't necessarily popular that you might be interested in. So I always say, stuff for me might be like Jorge Posada's glove that tagged out Jason Giambi, weird stuff like that. Maybe the wheelchair Paul Pierce got put back into and then he came back in. Weird stuff like that. So check out our podcast, Variety Sports Network. And like I said, thanks for letting me jump on with you guys on the 7th inning stretch.
The famous Bo Jackson bat.
There you go.
Right,
the broken one. That's a great one. That's an unreal call right there.
Well, you're welcome there. You guys should have just had me on yesterday. No.
Yeah.
I started listening to it because Darin got really offended that I didn't know his style yet. And I was like,
I haven't slept well.
to
I have not slept
I can tell. No. But Josh, do you have sweet Cardinals one? Josh, do you have any wise words of wisdom you want to say before you kick it?
It's a Monday, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost Tuesday. It's one day down, 4 to go. Drink in moderation throughout the week. Drink heavily on Saturday. Hydrate on Sunday. And get ready to kick some more butt next week. Have a great week. Watch some baseball. Get ready for some preseason football. College football shows up not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm jacked up. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yep. In the words of some famous country singer, it's always Saturday somewhere. So drink heavily every day. Anyways. Yeah, be sure to tune in on Wednesday. It's going to be VSN Civil War. Boom. It'll be fine. We're fine. I'm not worried. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. It's going to be
The
fine.
only reason you're not worried is because you're in Texas and I'm in Missouri.
Calm down. It's not going to get that physical.
Well, it won't because we're in 2 different states.
Yeah. But we're gonna be fine. We're not gonna. Our friendship stays stronger than Yachty's stupidity. Anyways, sorry, I had to go that one.
Oh, he took a shot.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
The problem
Anyways,
is I mildly agree with you, but
no, don't say that. We have to fight.
we're gonna fight.
This is
We're
gonna
gonna fight because of what you said.
WWE. Oh, what I said.
Hey,
Okay.
speaking
We're
of
gonna
fight,
fight
I better get off before I get in a fight
Yeah.
here with my wife. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take it easy out of this one. I'll see you guys next week. All
See you
right.
there.
See you later.
Josh, hit that sick beat.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody
Yeah.
have a great week. We'll see you on Wednesday for Cardinals.
Live long and watch baseball or watch them do.